After serving 22 years in prison, last week accused murderer of Victorian police officers Sergeant Garry Silk and Senior Constable Rodney Miller in 1998, Jason Roberts was acquitted by a Victorian Supreme Court after a retrial of new evidence showed hidden statements, statements that were destroyed, and new ones produced and backdated, police incompetence and investigation inconsistencies in the original Roberts 2002 case, which all led to the successful overturning of Roberts' sentence. It's the decision Ivan Ray, who's the CEO of Community Advocacy Alliance, says is not only disappointing, but it has ripped the guts of Victoria Police because it was ineptitude of investigators that now sees Robert a free man. Joining us to talk about the Supreme Court's overturning of Roberts' case is CEO of the CAA, Ivan Ray. Morning, Ivan.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Now, how could such an important, or for that matter, any case, be subjected to the errors that this brief contained?
I just don't know. I always believed, and it was my experience, that when the homicide squad got involved in anything, it was an exceedingly thorough investigation, and any suggestion that the homicide squad would be lax in that sort of area is just amazing. I just don't get it. I mean, the issue that there are different statements put in by the same witness is not a big issue per se, because people can often reflect on the original statement they make and want to make amendments or change it, or their memory is prompted by other information that changes their view and they want to change the statement. Nothing wrong in that. The issue becomes an issue where the original where the new statement is purported to be the original statement when it's not. That's where the problem is. And if there are more than one statement, they all ought to be and must be attached to the brief of evidence. And the various witnesses can explain why there are differences in the statements. By the process of disposing of or hiding statements or shredding them, only leads to big questions that are not easily answered, because we don't know what the original statements held, and that's not right. That's not fair.
Is there anyone likely to be held account for this, Ivan?
If so, it'll probably be low-hanging fruit, so to speak. And yet my view and the view of a lot of my colleagues in the CAA are that this is not, there is a culture that has evolved in the last maybe 20 years, the last couple of decades, which this sort of activity can perpetuate.
Now, there must be, and I've spoken to many serving officers who are just shattered by this, and I've seen the reporting on both of the families, the Silk and Miller families, about this. Have you spoken to any of the members about this and know what they're thinking?
The serving members, I haven't spoken to a lot of them. It's predominantly former members, and they're all of the same view that, look, the court made, in a sense, a proper decision. The evidence was tainted, and in that sense, there was an element of doubt. I've got, in my own personal opinion, is that Roberts was there, but the bar for conviction for crime is beyond reasonable doubt, and what's being put forward is a reasonable doubt, and the doubt is that the evidence was tampered with. And now that's a reasonable doubt. Now, based on that, I don't think that they had an option but to find him not guilty. The thing that rips at our guts is that this was caused by ineptitude or failure by the investigators.
So, who do you think is going to end up? Will there be a scapegoat, and who do you think the real culprits here? Is it up the level management, or is it down at the coalface?
Well, when you're talking about a culture of an organisation, and that's where we think the problem lies, then it's the management group. And there's been lots of things that we've noticed over the last 7 or 8 years that we've been running, that CIA has been around. We're taking particular note is that it always seems to be the low hanging fruit that cops the blister, not the upper echelon. They seem to be, you know, Teflon coated, so to speak. It's not an easy one. The people that actually did it did the wrong thing, but the one underlying rule that influences our thought processes totally on this is the type of behaviour is virtually rule 101 of basic training. Every policeman, every detective, every member of the police force must know that you do not tamper with evidence. That's it. You know, it's as basic as driving along the left-hand side of the road, and as soon as you veer to the right, you could be in all sorts of bother. Yeah. So this sort of behaviour and others, we thought exited policing in the late 60s, early 70s, but apparently it's come back.
Well, all right, Ivan Ray, CEO of CAA, thanks so much for your time.
That's right, mate. Have a good day.